Hello and welcome to Parenting Today. My name is Rebecca Miruri. Thank you so much for joining us. Now today we're going to talk about nurturing your child's gift into a talent. On set are two amazing parents. One is Anne Kering and Rosalinda Acheng, the mother of two amazing girls that we know. And if we don't know them, we'll get to know them today. Now, Anne Kering is mother to Nikita Kering. Nikita Kering is a musician and an actress, a well-known musician who was recently featured on New York Times Billboard. Can you imagine? Right in the heart of New York. And we also have Zawadi's mother, Zawadi Kayo. Zawadi Kayo is a TV host and a performing artist. She's currently the host for Club Kiboko. You remember Club Kiboko from back in the day and right now? Yeah, so Club Kiboko on KTN Home. Welcome to the show, ladies.
Thank you.
Thank you, Vicky.
It's such an honor having you on set today.
Thank you
Thank
for
you.
having us.
Yeah, let me start with you, Rosalinda. Tell us about yourself, tell us about your family, and tell us a bit about Kayo.
Kayo.
Yes.
Thank you, Becky. I'm honored to be on this show. The honor comes back to us. Yeah. So my name is Rosalinda Acheng. I'm the mother to the 10-year-old Zawadi Kayo, who's a gifted girl. From the name Zawadi. Yeah. So that is how we started. I just noticed something off or very special about her, and we kicked off from the time of giving her the name Zawadi. Yeah, so Zawadi is amazing. She's just been herself. She has other siblings. She has a brother whom she's also trying to, they do everything together. So
A younger brother or an older brother?
A younger brother. Actually, okay, there was an advert in which she appears. She was asking for a smaller sister, a younger sister. Then she got a younger brother. And she's like, oh, I still want a brother. I still want a sister. But anyway, that's a story for another day. So yeah, Zawadi has a brother that is mentoring, and a very supportive family, myself, the dad, and all my siblings. It's been a unit of working together. She didn't just wake up to do it on her own. Yes, she's gifted, but there's that foundation that you're forming right now. I believe it's a very strong foundation for her.
Okay.
So, and then she gets support from all of us.
All right.
Yeah.
You'll tell me more about her and when you spotted the gift for you to actually name her Zawadi.
Yeah.
To you, Anne Kering, tell us about your family and about Nikita.
Thank you. Thank you very much for having us. An opportunity to share with parents my experience with Nikita and children. My name is Anne Kering. I'm a mother of 5. I say there are 4 adults and 1 preteen. Nikita happens to be 4th born. So a lot of people think she's a firstborn. And yes, and I like how she's put it. It's been support from everybody. It has been a community raising her. I wouldn't say that we were very special in how we were able to identify the talent. I think it's a combination of people just, pointing out that there is something. Just like every other parent, you see a child who is very active and you think, well, she's maybe noisy like the mother, but you don't imagine that's talent. But you see a pastor will say this, a teacher will say this, a neighbor will say this, and that sends a signal. That's for those who may not, may wonder how do you try to identify. But you may be able to notice it in the house, but I think there was a very big role played by the community in raising her. So we support her, Joe and I. Joe is a dad. And the siblings support her. But I also need to mention that I think we have supported all our children to be the best that they can, to excel, to dream, to know that they can achieve whatever they set their eyes on.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I'm going to get to that actually.
Yeah.
How you've raised even the 4 other kids.
Yeah.
Other than Nikita. Yeah. Back to you. Is Zawadi like there are only 2 kids?
Yeah, I'm a mother of 2.
Oh, a mother of 2. Okay,
yeah.
great. So tell me about Zawadi. Right from when she was born, what is it that you noticed in her, or when she now started like expressing herself, that you felt was different? And was the Zawadi name prophetic? What was that about? Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So Zawadi, it's interesting, some of this, like Mama Nikita is saying, some of these observations that we make. When I was pregnant, and these are stories that I have written sometimes on Facebook, the way we share our journeys. So when I was pregnant, I could notice that when, let's say I'm out, like I'm here right now, doing stuff, Zawadi would stay calm, like just absorbing, until the point that I get home. It happens especially like you go to a function, there's a wedding, there's music in the background. I remember the last one that he had before, just before she was born, we were at a wedding. You know, the noise in the background, the dancing and everything. Zawadi was calm, like she was not there. So I made the joke. I actually made a post on Facebook saying, like, you know, when I got home, it's like she pulled all her instruments, the drums, everything. You know, my stomach was all over. It was her time for entertainment. I'm like, pana huyu mtoto wako huyu ni kama atakuwa mwanamuziki. Imagine that is how it started. So even after she was born, would notice her reactions whenever music was playing. At about the age of 1, we had this session. We had a cartoon. The kind of cartoons that were playing were on CD. Not, you know, the one that she can play and watch again and again. Yes. So my sister came, like you're talking about support system. My sister told me, when Zawadi could not speak by that time. She could hardly speak, like, apart from the what do you call it, proto conversations that children have.
Yes.
Yeah, so she came to us, and she was like, you know, Zawadi has memorized this movie. I'm like, how? What do you mean? She can barely speak. I don't know, she knows, plus the actions. So I took time. I watched the movie with her. Everything.
Word.
Zufu. The movie is called Zufu. We're talking about it the other day. Like, you need to watch that movie again at this point in life. So she was getting that, and I figured, by the way, we need to pay more attention. Apart from the dancing, should mimic adverts. So that is when I know. Even with the scripts, like, oh, so she has an interest here,
yes,
and then she can actually execute. Like getting scripts very fast. She could not speak, but she was able to mimic and say those things without knowing the meanings.
Yeah.
So that is how we rolled. We started the first poem. We tried with poetry. I got in touch with the script writer, is Nyakwardani. I was like, Cliff, you deal a lot with talent.
This is at what age now?
This is still at 1.5 going to.
What? You're already
So by the time
getting
she's
her
2,
poems,
yes,
yeah.
because she spoke way early in life, as compared even to the brother who who didn't speak as much until after 2. Zawadi was always speaking. You know, she would wake up. There's a time he was telling our dad, like, Daddy, don't worry, Zawadi speaks a lot. Because he would go and talk and talk. My dad was looking at him. He was like, okay, so what's happening? I said, no, don't worry, Zawadi talks, I talk. And I tell her, to date, you're born to talk. So, Mama, talk. The only thing that we have made sure we do that she talks the right thing, yeah, and in the right way to people.
And I'll get to that. So back to you, Anne.
Yes, Rebecca.
So at what point did you notice Nikita's gift, and how did you now start nurturing?
I think I can't quite place when we really noticed the gift, because this is a child who has high energy, who is performing. She's a child that every teacher picks to lead the songs and stuff. But I must say, there's one incident, and I had mentioned it in an interview, a past interview, where actually a lady, we were in a shopping mall, and had Nikita singing as she was searching. I think we were looking for clothes. And she actually told me, I think this girl has a talent. And in as much as I had heard Nikita singing for a long time, I think this really sent a different message. And I started being more keen. And then I also now started noticing that, you know, in the estate we were living in Villa Franca near Imaradaima. She got every child. She had also leadership, so she got every child to sing in a band. She had a band for the for the estate. She sings everywhere, literally. She'd go and pick a mic at a very young age and just start singing. If you are listening or not, that's fine. So it's only, I think now, like I say, a teacher is very, very key. A teacher at her school in Riara 10 once picked her to perform Emiko Gay's song, because she had been singing it anyway for a very long time. And what she did that day, I mean, still, fortunately, I recorded it. It's still, we still remember it, and a lot of parents recall that, because she was very young, she sang in Kalenjin, and she was full of energy, and there were like 1,000 parents present, and I was expecting, and I got the baby that night because of excitement, I think, my last born baby. Yeah. So I think that's when we realized now we need to get to the next level, and the next level, get a coach, because it's not just about singing, get somebody to direct the child. And let's see where this goes, how far this goes. And we got a coach, and the coach was working on her voice, and she was also doing piano. But besides that, she was also doing her schoolwork. So because that's the other thing, you know, the child can get carried away, because that's what they love doing. So we were able to align her with a good coach. Now I also started now, you know, doing my research and just looking out, watching TVs, watching parents who have done it before, just to see how this can happen. But key of them was really implanting in her that you can make it internationally. Look at that child who has done so well internationally. You can also do it, which is very, very key for a parent to do, to always reassure the child that it's not just about competition in the estate. You can actually do it and do it extremely well, because there's nothing unique about anyone. Nothing unique about Nikita. It's just a belief, self-belief, and working hard.
And working hard.
Yeah.
And I like it that, you know, both of you have mentioned how you got her a coach. You got her a poem.
Yes,
to actually
very
write
important.
you know, a poem at 1.5 years old. I mean, that was really brilliant. And maybe shortly before we take a break, you can talk about this. How did that now turn out? Because, you know, sometimes we mistake kids for being kiherehere. Let me say that. Like, you'd think, oh, you ni kiherehere, you know, anaongea sana, like you're saying, like this, like sorry, you were saying Zawadi can talk.
Yeah.
So how do you shush her without really suppressing that gift?
Okay.
But still ensure that she's doing the right thing.
Yeah.
Yes.
It takes a lot of talking to her. You know, every time she opens her mouth to speak, it's all about mentoring. You know, you tell her, Mama, we always have, you know, the stage one is teaching them about the magical words, for example, please excuse me and the like. So that is the foundation in terms of communication. So it continues with time. They know what is wrong from what is right. And just make her, what I've done with her is make her know that, well, you'll meet people, you'll meet all sorts of people who are saying all sorts of stuff, but it's just for you to know that this I can say, this I should not say. And I cannot control what people say, but I don't have to emulate the same. So you talk. I tell her, talk. She says, I want to. She started saying, there are videos of how YouTube saying the way she wants to be like Lupita, even before Lupita got the first award. Yeah, the big Oscar award. When was that, 20?
It's a few years ago, I think.
About 5 years ago. Yeah. Oh, Zawadi told me one day when she was 2, and this is on record, I posted it. Like, Mom, I want to be a superstar. Please make me a superstar. So I was like, okay, what's your understanding of a superstar? It is somebody who just performs and people watch and entertain people and they clap for her or for him.
So she wants to be on stage.
So we started making her superstar in the house. We tell her, do this, and then we clap. Like, you see, you're a superstar. But with time, so it's stuck in her mind. To date, she still says, Hollywood is waiting for me.
Wow.
So while on set one day, a director asked us, she told the director, by the way, I hope to be in Hollywood someday. Then the director went ahead and told Zawadi, you don't need Hollywood. Actually, Hollywood needs you, and we're praying for the same.
Amen.
Nikita is on.
We are in the right
billboard.
company.
Billboard in New York.
Yeah.
And I'm going to get that back to that after the break, because I also watched a clip of Nikita when I think like some 11 years ago, when she said that she wants to now start writing her own music.
Yeah.
Now, how do you manifest that as a parent and ensure that, you know, it comes to pass? We're taking a very short break, after which we'll continue with the show. Don't go away. Welcome back. You're watching Parenting Today, and today we're talking about nurturing your child's gift into a talent. And we have Nikita Kering's mother and Zawadi Kayo's mother on set, Anne Kering and Rosalinda Achieng. We were on you. Now, how did you take it now to the next level? Because, like I said before the break, I watched a clip where she was saying, Mom, I want, like I think she was telling the reporter that I'd want to write my own songs one day. That I just love singing. I really loved her, you know. I thought like it was really nice of her to just think of that at such a young age. So how did you follow that through to where she is right now?
All right, thank you. Let's start from this. I'm a dreamer. Frankly, I dream, and probably that has kind of rubbed off on my kids. I dream. I believe in working hard and praying harder. Yeah. So a lot of things that have happened today, even if I could say I'm quite spiritual, but there are a lot of things that have happened which were in my dreams before even that happened. And one of them is the Times Tower, and I can give an example of how that happened. But I think what was very clear is she knew that this is a path that we are supporting her to get to that path. She wants to sing, but then is it just sing only? There are so many things that you need to do to get to be at that stage. Aligning her with the right people to ensure that she is learning from people, she's learning from them. And the right people here, I mean, there is a teacher. I listen to teachers a lot. Through their lives, Mama Zawadi, I listen to the teacher because teachers are very powerful. Sure. They will tell you about your child. They know your child more than you know them. So learning from the teacher, learning from the pastors, learning and listening to the coach, and also just getting the right mentors for her. And because of that, then she could see that this is what needs to be done, that for me to become a superstar, I need to start writing my music. How do we get her to start writing her music? Put her in spaces where she's able to practice writing her music, and that's why then the teacher comes in. So ensuring that she's in the right space, in the right school, that she's able to learn how to write the music, ensuring that she is doing those things that superstars do, like make sure you're performing in as many shows as you could. And I can tell you, the girl performed in any show.
That was amazing.
I think that's the role of a mother. Yeah, and that builds confidence and being able to give her feedback, but also just affirming affirmations, positive affirmations, so that then she knows this is what I want to do. And also putting some, you know, because she can end up just singing and not singing. And for Nikita, I would say, look, there is classwork. And there is art, there's your craft, all right? So the two, there is none that is bigger or smaller than the other. So we have to move with this because I know God gave you a brain that can handle both of them. Yeah, so you achieve this in your school, it will get you to the next level in your music. Exactly. And she was able to relate that very well through her life, and that has really been able to help her. The other thing is the culture of working hard. And I would like to tell any parent who is raising a child, you really have to put in the work. As a parent, and even the child has to learn that this is work. And you can't afford to break. You know, you can't afford to say, I won't do the work now. There is a lot of work. There is a lot of sleepless nights. And that's it. You have to get to the next level. There will be lots of sleepless nights. But beyond that, as a mother, I mean, how are you understanding her craft? You may not, I'm not talented in music. Well, the most I did was sing in a choir where nobody can hear my personal voice. But you really need to understand the craft. You need to understand the environment around the craft. And for me, just getting to understand what is production like, what is in social media, and why is social media important, and how is social media going to help get her to the next level. What are labels about? What are the legal issues around the labels? You know, all those things, including makeup, including styling.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I want to come back to you because, you know, such a space definitely exposes your child to so much. Because now this is a new space, like you're trying to develop their talent, you're trying to develop their gift story into this talent that you're now managing. But have you ever faced any challenges in that space, and also just getting the right balance, and especially in getting the right balance between maybe her studies? This is still a child, Zawadi is like 10 years. So how do you balance it out? Okay. And how do you deal with the challenges that have come with her being in the limelight?
Okay, for balance, maybe Mama Nikita would agree with me. You know, they start early to be more than just children. They're children, but more organized in the sense that she knows the school, this talent, and especially if these talents now become a bit professional, where they have to go perform here, they have to perform there. So it calls for a lot of intentional parenting on your side, as a parent and as a manager. You know, there's time, you don't want to lose your child in the process, making her be an adult, because she's still a child. She misses that stage, you'll have yourself to blame, or she'll blame you for life. So it's a matter of balance. Talk to schools. Like she's saying, the schools are very important. Even Zawadi's first transcript when she was in kindergarten at Loreto Msongari, we got a remark, like, she loves singing. We're like, oh, okay. At that time, we were still doing poetry. I knew she was singing, but I didn't know she loved it as much. So it calls for a lot of consultation as well, like get to know teacher, I have this and that we're going to do. At some point when she was going to perform during just in the run-up to the elections of 2017 at the International Peace Conference at Safari Park, the school gave her a teacher to go with her on site, by the way, and we are appreciating that today, yeah.
Amazing.
Like, oh, because she's going to perform, it's a whole day's event, probably she'll be there like for an hour, but the time that before she's needed, we're in the van, in the school van, or we're given a space to study. So we also maintain, because I remember, yeah, when she joined school, she was first a homeschooler because we're trying to manage from home as she's doing this other stuff. When she joined school, her teacher Tabitha, still at Msongari, was like, Rosalinda, you know, I was asking the staff room, how is this girl doing in class now that she's so excellent out there, according to her words? And she told the teachers, like, she's actually the best student in my class. Wow. So it happens again, and we thank God for this, that these kids who are talented, who are gifted out, you know, still in class, they perform really well. So it's a matter of trying. We have to support as well. We do a lot to date. As much as she's in school, we continue supporting her. Yeah, I do. I still, and she asked me, Mom, I didn't know you still remember these things. She has exams later. Until late last night, we were doing revision, for example, because we just want to make sure that she doesn't come back to that point of being bullied, for example, because you know her potential. So if this is going to compromise on her results in school, what will happen? Wewe unajua tu kuimba ama wewe ni kuact tu. You know, the way children are different out there. There are others who will tell you without caring, without even noticing that they're hurting your feelings, you know. So besides being a parent, you also have to be a friend. Yes. And more or less the same a child. So there are times we go on set, there are no children on set, but she has to play. She's 4 years old. So what do you do? At
the end of the day.
Yeah, you just get to buy short.
Yes, Michael Jackson.
Yeah, you just go and buy short and do everything. You run around.
And still weren't.
Yeah, because you want to maintain the child. Yes. Yeah. So about those challenges that you're talking about, well, sometimes challenges have come, very positive challenges, that you find yourself in a schedule where you have a shoot here and then you have another shoot there, and you have to turn down one, yet she preferred, for example, yeah. But it comes to bullying and the like, we have to come up with, you have to make them be very strong and believe in themselves. Zawadi leaves the house knowing she can only be a better version of herself. Nobody brings her down. Like somebody used to tell her, oh, you know, I understood that when she was in school, there's a girl who, and I saw it. You know, children are brought up differently and the environments are well. You don't blame the child. So there's this girl who would come and just tell everybody, oh, your shoes, oh, you're what. Then I noticed this could happen too. It brings down children. So just tell them, Mama, confidence, you're born confident. Let nobody bring you down, that matters. Wow,
that is really brilliant. I want us to get to this like really fast. How did you now ground her? Like what still grounds about, like what do you do to ground her? You know, and what are some of the challenges that you faced in this whole journey to where she's reached right now, like worldwide, and what are some of those things that you do now to ground her?
All right. I think the mistake that a parent can do when you're raising a child like that is to assume that, you know, they're very special or different, and so they can't do that ordinary stuff that people do at home, like they can't clean, wash. No, that doesn't happen. Nikita is she's a child at home. She's our child at home. She's still at home. And just for our children, first impacting the right values, speaking with them, helping them understand that it's a gifting from God, which could have landed on any other person, and so use it to glorifying Him. Now, when you use it to bring down other people or to be proud about it, then it might as well be taken away from you by the person who gave it. So we speak a lot. She's a normal child, and the other children are also normal. And look, every other child is pursuing excellence in their own way. Yes. They may not be in the public limelight, but they are pursuing it in their own way. So just that, knowing that we support, but also knowing that there are things that we don't put up with. Again, as a parent, you're the first role model. So if you are humble, if you're not, you don't look down on people, then your children are not likely to do that. So part of that has helped ground her. But the other thing is her purpose. What she wants to achieve. She knows that if she plays around, then might just end up as every other name that may have started, and we don't know what happened. But if you're seeking to break the glass ceiling, then there's a lot of work to do. When you look at her today, you think, oh, by appearing at the New York Times, so she's made it. Oh, she's far from where she wants to be. So because of that, she keeps working towards that, and it's key that she remains focused. Exactly. There are a lot of disruptions. There are a lot of disruptions, and one of them you mentioned, cyberbullying. A girl starts from a point of disadvantage, you can be sure. The music industry is very masculine. You have to, you have a lot of time, like now Zawadi, if you have to go to studio, you have to be standing there the whole time. It could be 2 to 3 days of your time because it's a male world and you don't want to expose your child. And so a girl starts with quite a number of challenges, and you have to be friendly and to work with her to be able to know how to surmount some of those challenges. Nikita is one of those, I think, people in Kenya who has really been cyberbullied. It's very, very painful for a parent. It's very painful for me, who is a lot of times on social media. But the other thing is, don't focus on the 1-2 people who bring the negative vibe, because there are 1,000 others who are very, very positive and who are, and when people are speaking about you, there's something about you, either positively or negatively. So it's tough watching that. You'd wish to stop the whole world. There are sometimes when she was 13, I would inbox somebody and say, "Why did you do this? You look like you're somebody who is." Then I realized I'll be writing to 1,000 people, and it's draining me. Yeah. So it's more better to just let the child know how to manage that, but also be aware of mental health issues, and how do you work and know that in case of anything, there's a therapist. Because those things are real, and that world is not it's a tough world. And we can't say we are all tough to take it. Prayer is very key for your children.
Wow.
Yeah.
I'm sure Mama Zawadi, you're learning a lot from her now that
I'm learning a lot.
she's got ahead of you. You're watching Parenting Today, and today we're talking about nurturing your child's gift into a talent. We're taking another short break, but after the break we'll have Dr. Victor Ngani, who's going to come in and just shed more light on today's topic. Don't go away. Welcome back. You're watching Parenting Today. Today we're talking about nurturing your child's gift into a talent. And today on set we have Ann Kering. Ann Kering is Nikita Kering's mother. We also have Rosalinda Acheng. Rosalinda Acheng is Zawadi Kayo's mother. Zawadi Kayo is a host on KTN Home, Club Kiboko. And of course, Nikita Kering is a well-known musician in this country and an actress as well. And joining us now is Dr. Victor Ngani, a medical doctor, a parent, and a junior chess coach, who's also a coach, like junior coach, junior chess coach. And I believe you also coach parents on how to raise their kids. Welcome.
Thank you.
Yes, so at what point do you start noticing your child's gift?
Well, it's an interesting question, and I'd want to create a distinction between two things. The first is a child being gifted and a child having gifts. Because, we define gifted in a very limited way, where these are children with IQs above 130, they're either academically gifted or a certain 5 parameters. So that category, maybe just about 2 to 5% of children will fit in that category. If in the US, for example, then you go to special gifted schools, it's the children who will end up in college by the age of 10 and so on. But then every child has a gift. Now this is very different, and the gift can be in different areas. It's normally not the easiest thing to tell, because many times it takes someone from outside to tell you that this child is displaying something unique, or you may actually notice that your child is a little bit different compared to the children. The most common parameter will be what is called advanced development. So if you compare your child to other children of the same age, you notice that they exhibit different, they are better, they're more advanced. Either they are speaking faster or earlier, or they're reading before the children, or their questions are sharper, or just the way they understand things is very different. And maybe they can begin to write at a very early age, or the way they are doodling or scribbling for a 2-year-old is not expected. So these kinds of things will then allow you to tell that this child has a gift in this particular area, or may even be gifted. The other part you want to pay attention to is the interest. So your child may have a unique interest in something unique. Could be music, could be sport. And at that point, then as a parent, you latch onto that and begin to develop that gift into a talent.
Into a talent.
Yeah.
And I don't want you to talk about the different ways now to develop that. Is it by getting them a coach like they did, like getting them someone who can be able to do it? And how do you do it as a parent? Maybe before you get to the coach, how do you do it as a parent now to be able to develop that gift?
Okay, so a couple of things you have to be very wary of. Number one is that as much as the children have unique gifts and even be gifted, they're children first. And so you must start with the basics. You may be tempted to make them better at what they're doing, but remember, a gift is something a child is born with, and it's not something you're going to create. All you can do is nurture that. And so there is this tendency to sort of push the child as hard as possible to excel in that particular area, and that may in fact kill the gift. And therefore the first rule is, remember that this is a child. Develop the common bonds that make this useful for the child. For example, let them know that they're loved. It's a safe environment. There's structure, that they're appreciated. I love what Nikita's mom said, affirmation. And it's very difficult for someone to be appreciative of a situation where there's failure, especially if a parent is a type A parent. The tendency is, if you don't excel, you may actually be reprimanded, while in fact what works is to have the child appreciated and affirmed. The second thing is to make it fun. So children have an innate ability to understand when they're wasting their time. And I learned this from one of the top chess players in the world, Grandmaster Hikaru Nakamura. He learned chess at the age of 7. Now he is one of the few players who can routinely beat the world champion. And he said that when he learned chess, one of the things that allowed him to prosper and get interested was when he won against his stepfather. Of course, he couldn't win against him naturally, but the stepfather lost. And this was to encourage the child, because children learn very easily when they're wasting their time. And children love fun things, fun activities. So if you make it a chore, something very hard and difficult, they lose interest quickly. And whereas they have a gift in it, it may never become a talent they can talk about. So make it fun and enjoyable. And then the third thing that is fundamental also is be a guide, not a coach. What's the distinction? A guide is someone who points in the right direction, encourages you, nudges you. You'll see thematically you're talking about encouragement and about affirmation. A coach, on the other hand, is someone who drives you and will tell you this is what you must do and drills you. And that can be quite difficult for children. Remember, they're children at the end of the day. So these are some of the steps that you may need to take. Now, of course, later in life, if you need to move to the next level, where your talent is something that is recognized the world over, then you must have professional help. And this is where coaches come in, and even this must be structured. Of course, it's very expensive. The other factors in it, I'm sure the parents will mention this as well. And so there's a lot more in developing this talent. And then finally, if this talent is to be on the world stage, it will take hard work. Hard work not over 1 year, but hard work over many years. So by the time you're seeing Zawadi Kayo, you're seeing Nikita Kering being what they are, you can bet there are many, many years of hard work, huge expenses that have made them be where they are.
Where they are. So, and I like that you brought that up, because the cost of now developing these gifts into talents. What is that cost like? Is it just monetary cost? What are the costs like before they get to ask you questions?
Oh, they're tremendous costs. So, of course, there's a monetary cost. If you, for example, my own daughter, who's 5 now, she's already quite good at chess. She's a national under-7 girls champion, and I intend that she'll be the world champion. Now, there are estimates globally on what it will cost in terms of tournaments you're going to, travel, coaching. The cost is about 20 million Kenya shillings. That's what it will take for her to achieve that dream. But beyond that, as a parent, you must be available. It means that you make a decision between what you should be doing in terms of work and just being present for your child to motivate them and make them interested. It means that you may have to reduce your own interests and allow the child's interest to become supreme. So you have the choice between watching a Premier League match or going to a recital, and you go for the recital 100% of the time. These are just some of the costs. There are costs that are not customary. In the past, when we were growing up, the main thing was academics, and you must go to school, must do your exams, you must get an A, and you must become a doctor. Music, what is that? Sport, forget football, because football may distract you from, but then things are changing. So you must make a conscious decision as a parent now to understand that life is more than academics, and therefore this child may actually be gifted in an area that is not academics, and this is what you develop. And then it means if you may have to make a little bit of a concession, then that concession is made in the interest of this gifting.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you have any questions for him?
For a moment, I thought Daktari is reading into my life. because there's something you mentioned, Daktari, which is really, you said a parent should not be a coach, but should be a guide. And let me tell you, it's a very thin line when you're raising your child, and probably with a lot, you don't have technical support and even the money to get that. So you end up almost becoming like a coach. And I was there. And let me tell you what happened. At the age of 14, Nikita says, stop singing. A lot of people don't know that. 14, 15, zero. No music, no. She went to school, and there's a piano. We had even purchased a second-hand piano. She didn't touch it. And I thought that was it. And we decided not to push it and just allow her to get to school and do her stuff and see what this pans out to. And I think part of the reason is because we were really pushing her to get to the next level. You see, get from singing people's songs to now doing, your own stuff. But that was not yet, her system was not ready for that yet. And what happens after 3 years when she's turning 16, the Nikita you see today is after that session. Like the ego going back, and you've heard the story of the ego. She came back, she was herself, she was doing her music. We allowed her to do her music, not mommy's go sing this. And that is what you see today. So I 100% agree that we have to guide. Not easy, but I think consciously we can know when to bring in a coach and when to be guided. Yeah.
You have a question for him?
Yeah, just to rejoin that to the same, I think we have more or less the same experiences. Sometimes there's an expectation from a parent because your child is gifted in this way. I'll talk about auditions because I witnessed this a lot. And this is perhaps something that will benefit parents out there taking their children for auditions for either, for whatever craft it is, whether it's a commercial, whether it is acting or singing, A parent goes there. I know, like for example, I know what Zawadi can do, but you see, I haven't prepared her to be comfortable. All we're thinking about is excellence in performance. The child goes there, however confident they are, they freak on the stage. Or, in fact, used to happen, you hear a parent telling the other, comparison. Please, let us stay away from comparing children. Like, see, she's only 4 years old. When she was 4, I would hear parents saying that. She's only 4 years old, and see how she's done? You're 12, so you better put your game up. That is the killer of motivation. That is the killer of moral. At that point, the child is doing it for the parent, not because they enjoy doing it. So it is important for us as parents to just let a child to enjoy this, start preparation. Whether or not, what we do, for example, we go for an audition, whether or not we get it, that is a day that we have a treat. Yes, you always treat her. There's also the motivation. There's the talent, there's the passion, but there's also the motivation that comes along with this. Goes back to cost. Some of these things you do for free. You could be auditioning for something that is just going to be a concert, and they do it for free. There's fuel involved, there's time involved, because you spend a lot of time, like you're saying. Sometimes we even sacrifice. If there's the time that you have your free time, it becomes the child's time. So when you're doing all this, you still have to maintain being stable. I have seen children who are very good cry and lose it. And at that point when they cry, for example, it happens to especially young ones. I was at an audition yesterday, for example. A child was so small, but the mom, Mama, I know you can do this. Yeah.
I want Dr. Vita to talk about the parents who now don't even push their gifts as we wind up really.
Yeah, it's actually a tough balance, Becky, because many parents don't even recognize that looks like a gift. You mentioned earlier, they see a child who's hyperactive, questioning, inquisitive, and they think this child is just troublesome, and you may even get kiboko. Well, in fact, identifying, noticing that this question, this is not typical for this age. This is actually advanced. We have great benefits. So it's important for us as parents to understand that we have a big role in identifying and then nurturing these gifts. And so that getting that balance between when you're pushing too much and when you're not doing enough, that's the secret of parenthood. And for that, it just has to be prayer. We just have to pray about it. And I remember my own daughter, the small one, I was more interested in training my elder daughter because she was already a little bit older. She could understand chess. So I was even taking her to a tournament, and I registered the small girl just because she couldn't hang out, do nothing. And she beat an adult in chess. And now my expression changed because I realized she's actually talented in it. And she used to take my phone and play chess by herself the whole time. But once I recognized that she was talented, now I saw potential. And then I became the parent, I became the coach, and now to push her. And that push actually almost made us stop playing chess completely. So it's important for us to understand our contribution as parents to both recognizing and nurturing in a way that is gentle and recognize us as a child.
Okay. Unfortunately, we have to end the show. I think we've had a very good conversation, and that's why such shows exist, to be able to just make parents out there know that, that thing, the doodling that your child is doing on the walls could actually be, that child can be the next Michelangelo, and you're there telling them, watch out, utachafua ukuta, So I love it that you've been able to share your stories. We had Anne Kering, we had Rosalinda Ching, and we also had Dr. Victor Ngani on set today. Thank you so much for watching Parenting Today. My name is Rebecca.
Welcome to Tile and Carpet, where we deal with everything you would need at home, in the office, restaurant, and hotels. We offer solutions to all your needs. We have a wide range of roofing solutions, tiles, sanitary furnishing, and interiors. We have exquisite furniture, elaborate dining sets, and classic comfy beds. Our prices are affordable across board. Feel free to visit us in any of our different branches in Mombasa, Kisumu, and Nairobi. We also do site visits and offer clients with professional advice. You can reach us on this number for the site visit.